As I said in the introductory video, the first icon that we explore is what we call the discovery. If our team is helping you with a Pathfinder walk through a church consultation, we will have our hands on your ministry and really walking beside you as you're learning these skills that are associated with the overseer ministry in the church. And during this hands-on time for our staff in a church consultation, or if you're involved in a cohort or maybe even an intensive, we'll have some level of engagement with you to converse with you and walk you through 7 exercises that really help you to unearth the existing identity, the relevant challenges, and the unique opportunities that you have as a church ministry. The 7 exercises allow us to stand in 7 different places in what I call around the church. It's kind of like the 4 Gospels take various vantage points on the life of Jesus, but collectively they tell us the full story of who He is and what He came to do. Well, in these 7 exercises, we step back and fill out some questionnaires, answering 100 questions in a questionnaire that addresses 10 different categories of the church's ministry. There'll be a consolidation of your group's answers that allow you to reflect together as a group on the overall assessment that assessment number 1 gives to you. The second exercise that we use is called a historic trends discovery, where we basically look and discover, are you plateaued or are you declining? What exactly is happening spiritually within your church and some of the measurable, objective data points that we can gather. The third thing that we do is we take more of a historical look over the course of the entire church's life. We look back to the beginning. Why is the church named such as it is? Where is it located? What significant historical things have happened in the church's life? What challenges has the church faced in its past? And where is the church today? And I've had so many pastors that have gone through this third exercise and said, wow, I don't know that I ever fully understood the church that I was leading. The fourth exercise is a tell your story exercise. It kind of moves from a left brain approach with hard data to more of a right brained approach where we're creative and we write a narrative from our vantage point as an individual on what God's doing within the church life. We highlight some of those things that we have given by way of a description of the church's ministry and pull those data points out and include them in a summary statement that helps us understand how God has been at work in the church over the course of time. The fifth discovery is what we call a deeper discovery. For those churches that need it, we have some interviews with members, some that need to perhaps express some criticisms of the church, others that express the things they're really excited about in the church, and collectively we try to carefully draw a sense of understanding about where the church is and what's going on from the members' perspectives. The sixth element is a red light, green light session where we talk about those things that are giving gas in our tank and helping us move forward onto the agenda that we know God has for us. And we look at some of the yellow lights that are cautioning us about ministry, saying, hey, there's some challenges. And then we look at some red light areas that maybe are preventing us from going forward. We do this with the spiritual climate of the church. We do it with the organizational efforts that take place within the church. We do it with the systems that help multiply the church's ministry. We look very carefully and very deeply at all of those support structures that need to be in place for the church to really be able to thrive. And then finally, we place the church on a bell curve. We let the team that's working, if you're an intensive, you may have 4 or 5 people on your team. If you're in a cohort, you may have 3 to 7 people in your team. If you're doing a church consultation, it'll be your entire vision team that comes together. And we'll make a determination of where you are based on the assessments you've made thus far on the bell curve. Maybe you're in a crisis revitalization. Maybe you're in classic revitalization. Maybe you're in a place where you need to take a step so that perpetual revitalization takes place. And we teach you through these 7 sessions in order to do this, to draw 5 core discoveries about the church's ministry that will help you understand the key things that need to be addressed within the church family. I was helping one particular church in Charlotte, North Carolina, go through this process. And I remember there was a particular man there that as we came to the core discoveries, we were doing a whiteboard exercise where we had taken all of the data that they had gathered across these 7 exercises, usually 4, 5, 6, 7 data points with each exercise. And we put it on a whiteboard and began to synthesize the data. And synthesizing the data is one of those things that is complex but imperative. It's just so important that we're able to bring together complex elements of the church's ministry. And as we did, we boiled down the church's key understandings of what their core issues were, and Reggie became emotional about it. And he showed his emotion in the room, and I asked him, Reggie, would you share with us your feelings? And he, with a broken voice, began to say, you know, I've been around this church for 67 years, even though I'm only 66 years old. We all laughed knowing what that had meant, that his mother had brought him to church before he had been born. And he said, at 30 years of age, I was asked to be a part of the leadership team here at the church, and I've been a part of the leadership team for more than 3 decades now. And he said, for those 3 decades, I've understood that there have been real challenges in our church, but I've never been able to put a name on it. But today I can. You know, one of the teachings in our discovery section is that to take dominion over something, you have to be able to name it. In Genesis, it says to us that Adam was to take dominion over the earth, and the first expression of taking dominion over the earth was for him to name the animals. And in naming the animals, it meant that he had authority over them. Now, we don't want to press the point too spiritually far, but I would say to you that unless you can name what those challenges are, it is impossible for you as a church leadership team to talk about what those issues are and to determine how the Bible wants you and directs you to deal with those issues or challenges that are at hand for your ministry. Our real belief is that once you walk through the discovery process, you will have a good grasp, a spiritual grasp on the real needs that your church ministry has.